Welcome, everybody, to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Krysan here. TK joining us from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Breakfast, lunch. Got some great dinner as well over there. And I'm coming to you from the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame studios. And as always, we're presented by LaBerge Casino and the Barstool Sportsbook. The Barstool Sportsbook was busy this weekend. Of course, NFL playoff action, and it was thrilling to say the least. Not a good weekend for myself personally betting the games. Glad for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's talk about that game, Tommy. First off, the Bengals go in. They're a 5.5-point dog. I don't know what really happened to Buffalo. It's, you'd have thought the Hamlin, heart attack thing on the field, the fact that he survived and he's now come to the facility almost on a daily basis to sort of start a slow rehab process. He was in the stadium for the game. You'd have thought all of those things would have brought this team together over the last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe helped them play even better. But that hasn't been the case. This was a Buffalo team that was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, expected to win the Super Bowl. They're not even going to make it to the AFC Championship game. A shocking surprise that they just never were in this game against Cincinnati.
Well, yeah, everybody was talking about they had it made. They were at home. They were in the snow. Patrick Mahomes' ankles hurt, and if they play them, it's a neutral site. You don't have to go to KC. Hamlin was in a suite at the game, and like you said, he's been interacting with his teammates a good bit. He's got a long way to go. There's still no thought whether he'd even play football next year, and of course, his health's more important. But it's just like what happened to Bills. Well, I think what happened to the Bills was Joe Burrow and the Bengals, the Bengals, Ronnie, are in the AFC Championship game for the second year in a row. And I was thinking today, Joe Burrow played at LSU in 2018. Okay, and he was good. He was good, but he wasn't, he didn't win the Heisman. What he did in 2019 surprised LSU fans. 15-0, the records, the TD passes, the Heisman Trophy. So I guess you really, if you're an LSU fan or you follow Joe Burrow, you shouldn't be surprised at what he's doing. Okay, and now all the national pundits are saying, well, you know what? He has elevated himself now, taking a Bengals team that had been terrible forever, he's in the Super Bowl last year. They lost 2 straight AFC Conference Championship games, doing it on the road. They did it on the road last year. They're doing it on the road this year. So, I mean, it's almost, do you not bet against Joe Burrow? Do we go with that line?
Right.
Do we tag him with that when, they're a 1-point dog at the Chiefs? That's basically a picket game, okay, in all likelihood. So, as I think about it, I'm not surprised. I mean, look what he's done. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. This Cincinnati team is going to be good for a long time. I mean, they got their average age is young, and they're surviving with a beat-up line. Just think if the line wasn't beat up. But credit those guys that have stepped in and done the job with the run game. Joe Mixon, I've always liked him. You've heard me say that even back when he was at Oklahoma. I mean, this is a solid football team. Eli Apple, a little cocky on the defensive side, but other than that, I mean, this is a solid football team.
Well, you got to give credit to that defense, too. I mean, they only gave up 10 points in that game against the Bills at home. That's an incredible performance. But, the thing about Joe Burrow, I mean, think about this, Tommy. Going into the 2019 season at LSU, Joe Burrow was arguably a 4th or 5th round pick as a quarterback. And then all of a sudden he goes from August of 2019 being a 4th or 5th round pick to now he's considered arguably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. The journey's been just sensational.
Well, what it reminds me of? I think of this story. I remember John Brady telling me how one August they were looking at Tyrus Thomas and thinking, okay, is he going to be a 6th man? How are we going to get him in the lineup? What are we going to do with him? And it's meteoric rise. Right. He became the 3rd pick in the NBA draft, 1st round. Now, it didn't work in the NBA, but that was a meteoric rise from a guy that John Brady thought, might be a 6th man or we'll figure out how to get him in. Well, Joe Burrow in 2018 was a good quarterback, but nothing spectacular. Like you said, Ronnie, beginning of the senior year, he's a 4th or 5th round draft choice at best. Okay. And if he does pretty good, maybe he sneaks in the 3rd round. Then he goes and wins the Heisman Trophy and becomes number 1, 1st pick, 1st round. So it's a remarkable story. Mahomes has got the high ankle sprain. Ronnie, you and I have been there, done that. Sports, high ankle sprain, a lot different than the when you roll it to the outside as opposed to rolling it to the inside. And the recovery, he's going to play. They're going to juice him up. That ankle is going to get more attention this week than any other ankle in the world. And he'll play. Now, we'll find out if he can't go, then Chad Henne. Who even knew Henne was still in the NFL? And he took him on a 98-yard drive to a touchdown to Kelsey. So, if you got Kelsey, I guess me and you could have threw it to him. But Joe Burrow's story is amazing.
Yeah, the Tyrus Thomas story, though, that might have Joe beat, quite honestly. I mean, a guy out of McKinley who redshirted his freshman year at LSU, played one season, parlayed that into a first-round pick, $55 million in earnings in his career in the NBA. That's a pretty incredible story. But the Joe thing, look, I'm officially, I've got certain rules in life, and one of them is I'm no longer betting against Joe Burrow, no matter how I feel. I went against Joe Burrow and the Buffalo Bills. And the Cincinnati Bengals. My rationalization was that offensive line. They were on the road. It was snowy. Both teams didn't look good last week. I thought the Bills should have blown out the Dolphins. They didn't. They were up 17-0. They started turning the ball over. So I felt like the Bills were going to right the ship. And at home, Bengals, survived and advanced last week. They're playing without three starters on that O-line. All of that, I expected it to be a Bills win. The question was, could they cover? And I was very wrong. And so, and of course, you want to pull for Joe and Jamar and everybody. So that said, not going to bet against them. Maybe, I just hope that my fandom doesn't make me bet on them just because I'm such a fan. But in this game, with a banged-up Mahomes where we don't know, and now Mahomes left the game, came back, finished it for Kansas City, and what percentage will he be? When you first injure your ankle and you shoot it up or you tape it up and all that, and you're in the middle of the game, that adrenaline helps get you through. But then all of a sudden today and tomorrow, those are the days that really those high ankle sprains can be an issue for a player like Patrick Mahomes. Now, he's a warrior. We know he's going to play. The question is he 80%? Is he 90%? Is he 70%? Can he do all the things he's capable of doing? And that's why I think that line is what it is. It would be bigger if Mahomes was 100% healthy. But that said, Joe's got to be chomping at the bit to get to this game, knowing, hey, I'm taking on a questionable, slightly hobbled Mahomes. This is Cincinnati's best chance.
Well, we're gonna have to see if we can get Mahomes on Sports Shorts Radio this Saturday from the Barstool Sports.
That's right.
There's a good chance, because they don't play till Sunday, so he should be able to get us on the phone, and we can get the very latest on the ankle situation, Wow. Not a good day for TK yesterday. I bet the over in the Bills game. That didn't work. And then I had the Cowboys on the money line. That didn't work. Both games reasonably in the fourth quarter. I had an outside shot at the over. And then, anything could have happened in that Cowboys game. But, now, Ronnie, I don't want to get you upset, Ronnie, but I am speculating. This is TK. No source.
I know what you're going to say.
I didn't make a phone call. I didn't read nothing. I think McCarthy will get fired in Dallas and Sean Payton will be the coach of the Cowboys.
Listen, it wouldn't surprise me. I almost expect it. The Cowboys' loss was so bad. The offense was so bad. It was it was there for the taking. They could have won that game. They had numerous turnovers in the red zone. It was just brutal. Prescott played terrible, and they could have argued they were the better team yesterday and lost that game. And so that said, this would be the perfect scenario for this. This is a sellable scenario for Jones to say, hey, we won a playoff game against a bad Tampa team who had a losing record. But we went over there and just absolutely, Dak Prescott played horrific. We need somebody to fix this up. Mike McCarthy's not getting it done. Dak played bad the last 8 weeks of the season and justified bringing in Sean Payton. Now, you're going to have to pay off, Mike McCarthy to go. He's, on his contract. But if you got a chance to get Sean Payton's going to want a king's ransom. Jerry Jones is getting old up in the tooth. he's thinking, hey, I don't know how many more years I'm going to be at the helm. I don't know how many more years I'm going to be alive. I got a chance to go get a guy I've always wanted for the last 15 years. So what if I got to give him more than I want? I can see it happening, Tommy. I'm scared that it's going to happen because it's going to make me sick if Sean Payton is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Again, I'm speculating. I got no inside source. I didn't make a call or two like you do sometimes, but I'm just thinking it kind of like the stars are lining up for that. Now, maybe Peyton gets named coach at Denver or Carolina tomorrow. I don't know, but it's interesting to see. But the thing will be, Jerry Jones is going to get this question today or tonight on his radio show. Is Mike McCarthy your head coach for next year? And we'll see how he answers, regardless of what he said last week. Today, he reserves the right to do what he wants to do as the owner of the Cowboys. And maybe he comes out and says, hey, McCarthy's the guy. We're not moving it on that. We'll make some other, adjustments. Get as Chance said, Pollard getting hurt didn't help because Elliott's not what he once was. He's just not as good as he once was. And, Ronnie, did you see the play at the end of the game?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
What a goofy formation.
Desperation situation. I get it. And you put Elliott at center. Did you see him get run over?
Yeah,
I guarantee he's going to Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore, the coach. Don't ever call that shit again. I got killed. And, and of course, the play didn't work. The odds of it working were less than 1% before they snapped it. And when they snapped it, it became 0%. Yeah. So that was foolishness, okay? I think right there you got to throw the ball down the field and hope for a pass interference. That's your hope. I don't think Prescott could get it to the end zone from where they were at. So you throw it down to the 20-yard line with a couple of guys, and maybe you get a tip ball, maybe you get the interference call, and then you got a shot, to run another play. But
right. No, it's been a little bit of a disaster, not for sure. For the Dak Prescott was absolutely terrible for the Cowboys, and it was just one of those things where I could totally see them blowing it up and moving forward. That said, credit to the Philadelphia Eagles. Even though they hadn't looked very good the last few weeks of the regular season and Hurts had been out, boy, they picked up where he left off. They were clicking on all cylinders in that Giants game. I don't know. The Giants thought the game was starting at 6:00 last night or whatever. They got the start time wrong, but they didn't even show up.
Yeah, no, I bet the Giants. So it was a bad weekend for old TK. I had the Giants in that game plus the 7.5, so that didn't work. But I'm just surprised that the Giants just were so bad,
against a divisional opponent.
These guys.
Right.
You got the book on them, as they say. So it was just bad day for the Giants. I'm still liking Daniel Jones. I think the future's bright for the Giants, but Saquon Barkley's a free agent. He looked good in the Saints uniform, but so they got all teams got plenty of work to do. The Giants are on that list.
All right, so Giants take on San Francisco. The Eagles host San Francisco. What's the line on this one?
Eagles are a 2.5-point favorite as of this morning. Over and under is 45.5. In Philly, we'll have to check. You got to check the weather forecast, the weather situation there, and that'll be the 2:00 game on Sunday. The first of the doubleheader will be NFC, then AFC. Then you wait 2 weeks for the Super Bowl, which will be broadcast on Fox.
Well, I really like the Eagles, no question about it. The way they were impressive, and now that you see a healthy quarterback who's the reason that they're the number one seed, I don't know how you can't not like the Eagles. All right, on the other side, Joe Burrow taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you think the line is going to move? Like it's a 1-point line right now where the Bengals are a dog. The Chiefs are going to play it close to the vest with Mahomes' health, right? There's no benefit to being transparent with his health. They're going to probably list him as questionable or whatever.
Day to day.
You're not going to get a lot of information on how healthy he is. They'll probably downplay it because they want the Bengals to think he is more banged up than he is. That said, where does the money come on this, do you think?
I think the money comes in on the Bengals because of Mahomes' ankle, okay? Andy Reid's a great coach. And you're right. They're probably Friday they're going to announce that Mahomes will be a game-time decision. Okay, and I'm sure Chad Henne is going to get a few more snaps this week than he got last week, as a measure to be prepared for this team. But Zach Taylor has quickly established himself. He's the head coach of the Bengals. Some people don't know that. He's quickly established himself as a darn good football coach, and his staff does a very good job offensively and defensively. Obviously, they're in the Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game for the 5th year in a row. Bengals for the 2nd year in a row. So obviously, these two organizations are doing something right.
All right, so let's talk real quick about some college basketball over the weekend. If you
real quick, backing it up. Great point by Chance. Burrow thrives on being the underdog. He did that at LSU. He had a little swag to him, and a little cocky here and there. Yeah, a little cocky here and there. So anyway, but go ahead, Ronnie. I cut you off because that was a good comment by Chance.
So the LSU men's basketball team got beat by 20-something.
21.
Tennessee. They were 11-point dog. They were down 17 at halftime. And I think if I got to go back and check, TK, but I think LSU is 10-2. 2-10 against the spread in the last 12 games. I'm pretty sure that's their record.
Yeah.
So if you haven't jumped on that LSU basketball is terrible and they're awful and please keep betting against them. You're going to win money. I don't know where you've been. We've been telling you for a month.
Well, Ronnie, it's kind of like 2 years ago, whatever it was, we said get on Alabama in the first half, and we hit like 11 out of 12 that one year. Same scenario. And I will bet Arkansas tomorrow night. Arkansas, LSU beat them at the PMAC. Arkansas still can't believe that happened. And they're going to pound LSU tomorrow night. I will be, as soon as the line comes out, whatever it is.
I
don't care if it's 20. I'm on it.
Look, hold your nose and pull the lever because that's how bad this team is. And it's, they got one win. I don't know when they get another one. You know what I mean? Like I thought they were going to win 5 or 6 games in the league this year. They're going to struggle to do that. They're that bad. Now on the other side, we got an LSU women's team that has a game tonight. The only winner was the throwback uni. They wore the throwback unis from 1979, which obviously were great unis with Rudy Macklin, Jody Holberg, all those guys that Ethan Martin and all that went on to be final. A lot of those guys went on to be Final Four participants in '81, but which to me was just disgraceful. like save those unis for next year or save them for if you won a game and you got some kind of momentum. But that was just brutal that they wasted those unis on that crap.
It was terrible timing. We'll call it that. And look, they could have used Holtberg launching a few threes. They could have used Rudy Macklin in the paint.
They could have used them now.
That's what I meant. I meant Saturday. Holtberg, I'm sure, could still hit a few from the 3-point line. And Rudy Macklin would probably put a move in the paint and get a layup. So, they could have used those guys at their current age on Saturday.
Yeah, it was that bad. But the women are in action tonight, Tommy.
It's a Monday game.
Yeah. Where are they? I'm trying to find them here.
They are at Alabama tonight in Tuscaloosa. The women are 19-0, 7-0 in league play, and play in Tuscaloosa tonight.
Do we have a line on that?
I haven't seen a line. I've never looked for a women's line. I know this in women's basketball, if they put out a line, there's a limit on the bet.
Okay, so I'm looking right now, and
Can you find it?
I'm not seeing a line at the moment.
Bet LSU, whatever it is.
Alabama 15-4. Of course, LSU survived in advance, won by 3 against Arkansas last time out. Alabama's, last time Alabama has won 1, 2, 3 in a row. They beat Auburn, Ole Miss, and A&M. They last lost by 1 point to Auburn, and they last lost by 13. They lost 2 in a row before winning 3 in a row. So next, LSU's women play at Alabama this week. Then the next time they play after that is going to be next Monday, a home game against Tennessee. Now, this isn't, the Tennessee of our generation. It's not Pat Summitt Tennessee, but it's still Tennessee. And by that point, they won't have played a home game for, almost, week and a half. So there's going to be a giant crowd. It is Tennessee across the chest. If LSU can take care of business this week, go 20-0. They'll be taking on a Tennessee team at home to try to go for their 21st victory. That's going to be a giant crowd the following Monday. So, and I'll try to probably be at that one. Outside of that, last night was the first pitch banquet, the kickoff for the LSU baseball season. They had 1,006 fans inside the ballroom at the Crown Plaza last night. And I mean, it was a who's who. Alex Bregman, of course, was there. They introduced him. He said a couple words. We saw guys like Ben McDonald, Ryan Theriot, Mike Fontenot, Mikey Matuk, Pete Bush, Rafe Rhymes was in the house. Many former players, many of which I didn't even see. Jason Williams was there. And it was they could have sold 1,500 tickets. The ballroom literally couldn't have put another table in there. And they raised lots of money for their, coaches committee fund, which goes to, things that they need without having to get 3 bids for, right? If they need extra, mound or computers or anything that, they boom, just go get it. But the gist of it is that this team is absolutely loaded. You got a chance to see a lot of these players in person for the fans for the first time, especially the new folks. Giant freshman class, only 3 seniors, Merrifield, Dugas, and
Beloso.
Those are the only 3 seniors that they have. Obviously, a program like LSU, most players are going to go pro, or nowadays most players will transfer. But this is a team that's preseason number 1 in every poll. That you could feel the energy in that room. And there was a comment, of course, made by Jay Johnson, had a big smile on his face the whole entire time. What did he say?
Quote, "I would not leave LSU to be the manager of the New York Yankees. This is the best job in baseball," unquote.
And look, I don't, that's not lip service.
No, he means that.
If it was anybody else, you could be like, yeah, whatever, But I mean, Jay Johnson, is a guy who you get the feeling that he's genuine in those comments. You get the feeling that he never believed he was ever going to be in this position. He didn't grow up in California being an LSU fan at 13 years old, wearing 14 years old, wearing an LSU hat and being the only guy doing that and thinking he was ever going to be the head coach of the LSU Tigers. And now that he's here and he sees the lifestyle he's living, the money that he and all his staff are making, the facilities. Skip Bertman told me this last night when I brought him home after the event. Skip said he said, when he talked to some of the transfer players, the Littles of the world and some of the other transfers, they tell him they love LSU more than their old school. It's just more fun. They're not even talking the baseball part. They're just talking about, I love being here in Baton Rouge. I love being here at LSU. It's just something about this place is special. To a man, they all said the off the field part, the school part, the community is just so much better than whatever school they came from. And that actually, I think, kind of surprised Skip a little bit that they said that. Obviously, the baseball's explanatory, but, for them to say, wow, no matter where they came from, they liked it better here. And that says a lot about what they're building.
Well, Ronnie, when Jay Johnson got the job, okay, I remember the comment when he said, I had a great job at Arizona. I liked it, got them to Omaha twice. And he said the only job he'd left Arizona for was LSU. Okay, when you heard that 2.5 years ago, you're like, okay. Now I believe he meant that now that I know him a little bit, you know him a little bit, we've been around him, both on the interview thing and at the ballpark. I believe he meant that. And I believe he means he wouldn't take a major league job tomorrow. He'd rather have the LSU job because he wants to win a national championship so bad it's not funny. And, I've told a lot of people, book you, make your reservations for Omaha because they're going to be there this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they're not in Omaha, it will be one of the biggest disappointments in college baseball history. Now, there's been examples of super teams. Heck, look at Tennessee last year. Didn't make it to Omaha. There's examples in the history, but Vandy was a number 1 seed with David Price on the mound, didn't make it to Omaha. So it's not like it'd be unprecedented, but it would be catastrophic. It really would. And so, look, I agree with you, Tommy. I think this team goes to Omaha, roll the dice. I'm a little bit of a gambler. If it's a non-refundable hotel or Airbnb, roll the dice, get it. You can always probably go online and move it for somebody else. Did LSU make any adjustments to the box? At the moment, I don't know that they have. I know there's been talk of them moving.
They got to get their bullpens off the field to play.
That is a big thing that Jay wants to happen, but I have not heard that that's something that will get done for this year. Question: where and how do you see Beloso getting action this year? Quite frankly, outside of some just
Tuesday night pinch hitting.
I know. I think he's a lefty pinch hitter off the bench kind of guy, and if if they really want to give Morgan some opportunity to show that he can play left field on an occasion, like on a Tuesday night or something, okay, maybe they do that. And it's twofold. You get him a few innings in left, and you get Beloso some innings at first. But that's forcing it because there's no reason for Morgan to go play left field. I think he can play first base in the big leagues. I mean, come on. But, there's been many examples of high-hitting, doubles type guys in the big league playing first. But that said, Beloso's going to have to be a leader, pinch hitter, and pick and choose his spots. Unless there's injuries or something like that happen that are unforeseen.
Well, they have a lot of depth, and that's a good thing because, we don't want anybody to get injured, but chances are that somebody will. Hey, 25 days away from the opener against Western Michigan, 3-game set, February 17, 18, 19. I'm going to plan to be at all 3. So we'll get a good up-close look at the Tigers and begin that journey to see if they can get to Omaha, and I think they will. All right, Ronnie's video appears to have frozen up. I'll tell you about Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, 7 days a week. Specials. Connect on Facebook and Instagram. Coming up February 4th, a great thing for the ladies. Guys, get your ladies hooked up. The Court Street Cafe, Saturday, February 4th. Galentine's, a spinoff on Valentine's. They do this every year. Women can come drink and shop and have fun. We'll get you more information. It's all on Facebook at Court Street Cafe Facebook page or their Instagram page. Galentine's special on Saturday, February 4th. Don't forget the breakfast, lunch, dinner, 7 days a week here. Jason and the staff do a great job. LeBare's Casino and Hotel Baton Rouge, Ronnie, and I will be out at the Barstool Sportsbook this Saturday. I want you to come out to the Barstool Sportsbook this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Sports Shorts Radio. All right, let's see here. We got are you back, Ryan? All right. I did a little Court Street Cafe mention and was just telling you, come on out weird. For radio.
I don't know what's going on. I could hear you the whole time. I could see you the whole time, but my side was spinning and all that. You got to love Wi-Fi. 20 years ago, unfortunately, during 9/11, we got people that can call from the airplanes and wish their family well. And here we are in 2023, and I can't get wireless Wi-Fi from Cox to work consistently. So apologies to everybody out there. Last comment.
A big comment here, Ronnie. Do you like the new white unis that were posted?
LSU baseball?
Yeah, you saw them?
What's different about them?
It's pure white. Okay, there's no pinstripe. It's not gray. It's pure white and big TIGERS across the chest. It's kind of like not a.
But how's it different?
They never had a pure white uniform before.
They always had a stripe down the side.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
They posted a picture. If you go to LSU Baseball's Twitter account, you can see the picture of it.
Yeah, see, this is where I have, look, I get it. These day and age, everybody wants to make their own mark. But look, I mean, LSU baseball's unis are. So how is that different?
It's again, they don't have the white they had before had a pinstripe. Had a pinstripe in it. This doesn't have a pinstripe.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of a baseball player. Let me see if I can get it. That's a pinstripe.
That's the new uniform.
But that's a pinstripe on his pants. I mean, that's a.
I'm not talking about the pants. We're talking about the jersey. That's the jersey. Correct. They haven't had one like that before.
Okay. So jersey.
Well, I'm gonna go back to Saban's quote. It's not the jersey; it's who's wearing it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm going to make one last thing, then I'm going to get the hell out of here.
Well, I'm going to go back to Saban's quote. It's not the jersey, it's who's wearing it.
Okay. I'm going to say one last thing, then I'm going to get out of here because I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi, and we're done anyway. The unis, to me, I don't necessarily notice the difference. You know, whatever. I don't think that they don't offend me. I don't know that I love them, but they don't offend me.
Hey.
And they're going to have probably 4 or 5 different kinds and all that anyway. So
yeah, no, I'm not going to go, if they had a different uniform, they wouldn't have lost. Or I'm not going to say they scored 8 runs if they had a different uniform instead of 4. I mean, hey, I love the passion by LSU baseball fans. Ronnie, here's what I wanted to say earlier. Some of the freshmen and transfer guys that were at the first pitch banquet last night have played most of their games in their career in front of less people than were at that banquet last night.
That's right. By the way, I'll say this. As far as the unis thing is concerned and all that, if you want to see colorful, bright, cool uniforms, go to brrugaroo.com. brrugaroo.com. Get yourself a custom jersey right now. It's the hottest thing going. As Theo Vaughn, we got him a jersey. Last night, Alex Bregman signed a jersey for a country singer, a Rougarou jersey for a country singer that we're going to be presenting to him. I know you're not a big country music fan, TK, but Alex Bregman knows the guy, and he's a big fan of Alex's. And so we were able to get a jersey for McCullum, for Parker McCullum. He's coming to concert here. So that said, if you want cool uniforms that have plenty of color and stripes to them, go to brrugaroo.com and buy yourself one. The season starts May 30th, and you can get your tickets as well.
All right, Ron. I appreciate that. brrugaroo.com. And don't forget, we'll be back. Hey, schedule changed this week. We're going to be here tomorrow and Wednesday. So you got 3 straight days of Sports Shorts Daily. I'll be at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood tomorrow and Wednesday. Of course, Court Street Cafe today. Got a big crowd in here today on a Monday. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, but Sports Shorts Daily the next 2 days. And, of course, Sports Shorts Radio on Saturday at the Barstool Sportsbook. I want everybody to come on out for that.
All right, for Tommy Krysan, I'm Ronnie Rance. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Until then, so long. Stop by LeBear's Casino and check out all the action at the Barstool Sportsbook.